Good.
Hi.
How we doing? How you been, Gabe? Rodney, you guys good?
So good. So good.
Good to see you, Rodney. I think
Yeah, man, it's been too long.
last time you and I was looking back at our chats, we had just completed the Murph last year.
I was wondering, I couldn't remember. You are a CrossFitter, right?
No, not
You
I
just did the
mean
Murph.
a closet CrossFitter, if you
Nick's just a specimen. Like
will.
like
No.
Yeah. He just looks like a
Yeah.
he's a naturally high performing human being. Like
Yeah.
I'm envious of
Do
his
you
of his.
remember
His
your Murph time, Nick, by any chance? Did we share
Ooh.
time with each other?
I
Can't
think
remember.
we did.
I think we did. I no, I don't. I don't know. 41 minutes, 42? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember if we did or not.
Yeah. So this is actually timely. I knew this was coming up and I kind of thought you were a CrossFitter. And this morning we show up to class and they made us do Fran. Have you ever done Fran before?
No,
There's
no.
like two big CrossFit workouts. There's the Murph and then there's Fran. So the Murph you do in honor, on Memorial Day. And Fran is like a benchmark test where you just try to kill yourself and get a better time than you got before. But the thing about Fran is like today, it took me 5 minutes and 56 seconds, and then it wrecks the rest of your day. Like you just never recover from it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like it just keeps getting worse. This kid that's kind of new to class, he was like, "Oh, that was terrible. I hated everything about
Uh-oh.
it." He was
Rodney,
like, "Oh, that was
we lost your
terrible."
video. What happened in Dwight, Rodney?
I don't
Has there
know.
been an event?
I've had some camera issues. Let me switch.
Rodney asked us to
Anyway,
check
he
it
was
out.
like, terrible. I hated everything about that. And I was like, oh, it's not even bad yet. Like in 45 minutes, you're going to want to, it's bad.
So you just go through like a whole series of workouts or exercises or
It's 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups.
oh,
Just like, so your heart rate gets to about
got it.
312
Yeah,
seconds and then it stays
yeah,
there until you're done.
yeah. For 6 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you, Roddy.
Yeah. Oh, here we
That's
go.
good. I aspire to be in physical specimen like you at your age.
I'm definitely no physical specimen, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine what I would be if I didn't get up and go work out 3 days a week at 5 a.m., be a bad deal.
Yeah.
It, I remember, I don't think it was, like somebody said to me when I was playing football, I think he was a doctor or something who was like a heavier guy who played football. He's like, the problem is nobody teaches you how to stop eating because when you're
Correct.
like when you're a lineman, right? Like in general, you're bulking up a little fat ain't gonna hurt you. Like a little extra mass there is helpful.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but a little bit. And yeah, and like that, I know what I look like. I mean, we talked. I got up to 350 not that long ago. I guess a year and a half ago now. It was what 355. So I peaked out at.
Yeah.
And even then, I was still working out like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
I just, man, I like food. Food's great. I'm a big fan of food, and
Tough to
big
beat
food
food.
fan. Kids kind of kill you too. So my advice, anytime like a new dad asks me for advice on parenting, I always tell them to finish their kids' hot dogs and chicken fingers because they're so delicious. I hate food going to waste. And my kids, when we're looking back through old photos, my kids can clearly point out the fat dad phase. They call me fat dad. They're like, "Oh, there's fat dad."
We're
Tough.
going through the I would say the bookending of the kid food where they've got to pay the dad tax. So I
Nice.
usually start to kick things off,
That's right.
and then I do back cleanup. So we're bookending there,
Yeah. Yeah. Better keep working out or find a football team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yep.
So we went to Italy a couple weeks ago and, ate as much as whatever, but I lost 7 pounds while I was there. And
Walking?
you ate more
Well,
than you said you ate more than you normally do, right?
I think I ate more than we normally do. I mean, walking, you don't lose a ton of weight, but I think just in general, not sitting in front of my desk, like
Yeah.
so yeah, walking, but more like not sitting.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to be fair, I think we average something close to 20 miles a day on foot, which is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I was impressed. The kids, especially my 13-year-old, kept up. She is not a big athlete. She's more in the musical world. Not a lot of squats and push-ups there. Um,
That's impressive. 20 miles a day. That's impressive.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to be clear, by the end of like 6 to 7 days, like I was feeling it. Like you get into bed and then get up and still be pretty sore. Like it was just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it was great. I'm riding my bike 84 miles tomorrow, or I
That's
should say,
tomorrow.
I plan on riding my bike 84
Ah, you'll
miles
make it.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do it. And it has been said over and over to me. It's a ride, not a race. Um, my big challenge is number one is my ego, right? Because like not pushing hard is really hard, and that's a good way to toast myself. The other ones are, I think it's going to be like crazy humid, like not super hot, but in the 80s. I mean, so I've been training enough. I know on a hot and humid day, I lose about 2 liters of water per hour.
Okay.
Like,
Do you have a nutrition plan? Like
I
by
mean,
mile or by time?
not, I would say it's not that specific, right? Because it's gentle, right? And there's some stops along the way and stuff. So I'm not riding 84 miles without stopping.
Yeah.
Uh, it'll, but I mean, I've got a Camelback holds 2 liter water, and so that will basically be sugar water, right? Is what
Yeah.
whatever stuff you throw in there, and then a bunch of other water. So yeah, my hope is, um, I yeah to I yeah, and I burn I think about 1,000 calories an hour on a ride like this. Because I'm still a fairly big guy, right? So
Hmm.
it'll be um I probably will have burnt somewhere between around 6,000 calories by the end of it.
Yeah, that's a good day.
Yeah, it is.
I'm I'm hopeful. Like they look like some pretty tough, not a ton of them, but like probably 2 or 3 tough hills, and um yeah. Oddly enough, that's where I have the hardest time. I know that's crazy, but like going uphill is the hardest part. But
Do you have a meal that you're looking forward to post ride?
no, you know what? I haven't thought a second or a foot
Post.
beyond the 84 mile. Like, and I'm doing it with Little Leaf, so I'm like super lucky because one of the team leaders is like taking advantage, or shouldn't take taking advantage, like taking on sorting out logistics and everything. So like that's super helpful. Yeah. So yeah. So
Nice.
I think there's a you know better than 80% chance that I finish. We'll see what the old body looks like. I mean, the other funny part is I have a hybrid bike. Like I don't have a road bike, and so like you hear people like, oh, I've got it's a hybrid bike I bought almost 10 years ago, and I think when I bought it was like 300 or 400 bucks, right? It was like and and so like there's a like oh this person's got a $5,000 bike. This thing like
Yeah.
you got cool. You guys are gonna smoke me.
Yeah.
Like
And
that'll be
guys
great.
on your team have like $5,000 bikes,
I
right?
don't know about anybody on the team in particular. I believe there are some pricey bikes like they're not running, but when I was doing like research on what should my nutrition look like what how do people deal with some of these problems,
Hmm.
like seeing that stuff, it's just like I don't know, like yeah, you can
I mean,
turns out you put I guess about as much money as you want into a bike.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah.
Bike's a component, but I think it's comes back to the engine as well.
That's right.
I've seen some guys on, 5-figure bikes, but comes back to being the engine ultimately.
yeah. To be clear, I don't think getting an expensive bike would suddenly bump up my
Yeah,
speed by 5 miles an hour. I
No.
yeah,
maybe it would give me one or two,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Sorry, I
man,
keep looking down here. I've been restarting a computer. It so just restarted, and it took I think 35 minutes. And I had started update, so I'm recording on a different computer. The one I wanted to record on was I've been updating it for I think an hour and a half because I just don't. I use it now just for this most of the time, and so anyway, I'm I'll stop looking over because it's finished now. But I'm not going to
Be
change
like
it right now.
Rodney, we could hear the "You've got mail," in the background here for sure.
It's got to have more processing power than that for these
Yeah,
like 15 gig files we're sending back and forth.
yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, that added up.
Um, yeah, yeah. So uh, let me talk about equities a little bit. Like it's been fascinating to watch, right? Like just as I guess just to reiterate, like my portfolio is long indices. Like but as somebody who continues to try to understand what's going on in the market, I mean, like it, it feels the most disconnected, like the indices have been from each other. So normally you see the Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq all kind of move together. With the AI, rotation of investment into AI, you saw Nasdaq like outperform the others, and now it's been getting smacked way worse than the others. But like 3 days ago, I think the Dow was up, I'm going to say 600 points, and I think Nasdaq might have been down a bit. And then the next day, the Dow was down, right? Basically, put it right back in line with where the Nasdaq had gone to. Crypto's been weirdly out of sync with everything. Like normally it runs just in line with Nasdaq. Um, like there, yeah, and then there's the whole bond market, which is also confusing. I mean, I it in the early 2000s was kind of the end of the opaque Fed, where they wouldn't talk. So it used to be people were constantly trying to guess what the hell the Fed was going to do with rates, and it was like prior to the 90s, it was like really, really bad. Slowly, they started to release more information, right? So they'd release notes from meetings and like, oh, it would, what did so and so say? Like, what did this, like, what are the read between the lines things? And then, like, surprise, surprise, they figured out, like, oh, that actually adds a ton of volatility to the market when we don't tell them what we're doing. And so they really basically shifted to saying, hey, here's what we're doing. And so it's not that there was no volatility from it, because sometimes they get new information and it would change what their plan was and whatever. But it wasn't a mystery to try to figure out what the Fed was thinking in those meetings. They were really clear about, hey, at this moment, this is our approach. With this administration, like not a shocker, they're back to operating in an opaque way. So we saw a ton of volatility, expected volatility get added in the market, some weird behavior, not weird, but what I mean, I guess totally expected behavior in terms of volatility with the uncertainty and continued uncertainty. And lack of specificity around how they're making decisions and what would cause like explicitness around what would make them cause rates. So it's fascinating to look at in terms of the disconnectedness between the markets, but also seeing that what is really a generation of traders who's never had to deal with an opaque Fed try to figure out how to deal with an opaque Fed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys notice anything or looking at anything?
From an equity standpoint, certainly,
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think these equity markets are unlike anything I've seen historically. I would say high is from my perspective, historically speaking, a lot of correlation. You'd see Dow, S&P, Nasdaq move together. Um, as of late, how about gold? Throw gold in there, right?
yeah. I think gold was down yesterday. Like,
And it's maybe we printed the high with maybe late April, May timeframe, right around there.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think that market's interesting from my perspective as well. Wasn't it moving in tandem with crypto?
It was moving in crypto for a while, but when the macro kind of trendy investment moved out of crypto into AI, gold kept up, and so that's when they separated.
That's when they
Um,
separated. Yeah.
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 So and with Iran, like I think the market's kind of figured out when there is real risk, like the market does not run to crypto; it still runs to gold. Um, and the dollar, like the dollar, strengthens because we're again anticipated raised rates and that kind of stuff. So we had hit, I don't know, like a buck 19 versus the euro about 5, 6 months ago, and now we're down at a buck 13, which is a pretty big move for that currency pair. Um, uh,
How
Rodney,
about
you
how about I was gonna say how about the
no, go
unwind?
ahead.
Yes. How about the unwind yesterday? Leopold Ashenbrunner.
The what?
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Um, what tech hedge fund heavily invested in AI. I've seen over leverage reports like 4 to 10x over leverage. And ultimately, um, margin calls caught up to him and liquidated public holdings. Didn't sound like they liquidated private investment, but liquidated public holdings to Citadel. Um,
Hmm.
yes, yesterday. I mean, that happened, it seemed like overnight, essentially. So,
Generally, how it
so
goes.
yeah, 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 quick. So,
Yeah.
but it sounds like he was able to hang on to some of the private investment stuff, but the public side of things, it sounded like um, Citadel scooped up, and I'm sure they had a decent day yesterday on whatever they scooped up overnight. So
They didn't pay a
based
premium
on
for that.
based on yesterday's move, I saw Nasdaq was up almost 3%.
Hmm.
So
Hey,
yeah.
we should introduce Nick. I
All
know
right.
we know who he is, but I doubt anybody listens. I mean, maybe somebody listening knows.
Well, so I've known Nick. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. I bet close to 20 years, like not quite 20 years. Like I think it's like mid to high teens. Uh, I got to know Nick at first. He was an accountant at Cargill, right? Or were you ops?
Ops.
You were ops. Okay. You worked for Gene Clay Koprucki,
Yep.
all
Correct.
star, all
Shout
star.
out, Gene.
Shout out to Gene. Anybody ever meets Gene, like you better get out of her way.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
that's
She's
the
the
respect
boss.
she deserves. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, yeah, Nick worked for Gene. A com, as much as we hired folks onto the trading desk, like a not an unusual one was people that performed well on the operations side would move onto the trading desk, and so Nick did well on the ops side.
What was operations? I call operations dumping trucks, but I assume that's not what you're talking about.
We handle a lot of the back office work tied to the trading side of things, documentation, settlements,
Yeah.
reconciliation, that type of stuff. So,
Got it.
yeah, Gabe, I remember the day I met you was in the office center here, Cargill Office Center. T Ness, I think would have been during his internship,
Okay.
and you were sitting on the desk. It was like you, Megs, and a few others were in there. So, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
You were
Probably
living
had.
in the cities here, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. At
Yeah.
that time, I was out. Yeah. I was in Minneapolis from like '03 to '06.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right around that 20-year mark.
So Nick eventually came working on the trading desk at Cargill. When I went over to Indigo, we posted a role to. We were basically had some what we were doing risk management stuff for farmers, not like CRM, but not like the Cargill side. But Nick reached out, was interested in the role, and was happy to bring him over there. That's where Rodney and Nick met. Um, yeah, and so
So I do think, Nick, you were on the end of the hold music sometimes when I called the CRM desk, right? You were on grain for a little bit, but no, I don't think we crossed much.
I don't think, yeah. I think it would have been for a very short period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, like the key players when the good people I always talk to is like Jen, I think, and Daria. No, not Daria.
Jose.
Jose.
Jose, yeah, yeah. So, but you were there with those guys, right? I think just for
Just a
whatever.
bit after. Yeah. A bit after.
Got
Yep.
it. Yeah. So I think we barely crossed paths
Yeah. Yeah.
because I left Cargill in November of 2012. So I bet.
Yeah, there would have been some overlap there, but
Some overlap there. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Because I probably joined in maybe mid to late 11
Okay.
or yeah, early 12. So
And on the
yeah,
corn and soybean,
on
like
the
desk.
desk, yeah,
Yeah,
Gabe's
right.
team. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, there was some overlap.
yeah.
But yeah, I got to know Nick in the Indigo days, which was super fun. That small corner office up in Boston there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Got a
Corner
little
office makes
stuffy.
it sound like it was an actual corner office. To be clear, we had what was a corner conference room that we had shoved 6 desks together face to face to build a trading desk, and I had a couch put in along the side because every once in a while I just needed to face plant onto a vertical surf or onto a horizontal
Yeah,
surface.
yeah.
um,
I think we converted it from a utility closet into an
yeah,
office, huh?
yeah, it was in the corner.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah. And we were like, I think the reason you had to do that is we were the loudest
That's
20
right,
by 20-foot section of that whole complex, right?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
people wanted a door between us and them. Absolutely.
I remember taking my first phone call on the floor there, and just the what's going on? What's going on here? You know? Yeah, yeah. We need to move. We need to
Yeah,
move.
for
So.
sure. So what are you up to now, Nick?
It's good. Yeah, so work for a privately held company out of Wisconsin, US Venture. They've got a series of businesses under transport and energy. And one of those businesses is Breakthrough Fuel. And where I work for Breakthrough in particular. So
Okay.
been with Breakthrough just over 3 years now, and working with their client portfolio to help manage fuel price risk, which has certainly been a topic of late, hot topic as
That's
of
been
late.
fun.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Fuel
absolutely.
price risk on behalf of the customers that are working with you, is that? Yeah,
On behalf of Breakthrough's shipper clients, yeah,
got it.
yep.
Yeah.
So,
Does
a
Breakthrough
little
doing wholesale fuel sale to those guys? Okay.
well, so Breakthrough, you know, traditionally speaking, shippers would reimburse a carrier versus some sort of DOE rate, fuel surcharge rate. Okay, and it's lagging, often not indicative of where carriers are buying fuel or purchasing fuel. So Breakthrough came in about 20 years ago and said, on behalf of the shipper, we will calculate that fuel surcharge or what the actual fuel price on the lane movement was. And that's what you're going to reimburse your carrier to move your goods. So today that spreads around, I think around 30 cents. There's a lot of volatility in that spread today, that DOE to wholesale spread.
Sure.
Um, but generally speaking, in a more, less volatile market, it's around 60 to 70 cents. And that's, classified as savings back into the shipper pocket where they're not paying that, essentially a retail price or reimbursing their carriers at that retail price. So that's how Breakthrough got its founding. About a 250 client portfolio today. Fortune 500 organizations.
Mm.
So
So did you clear with the HR department that you're going to be on this podcast?
I did not.
You did
I
not.
didn't.
Okay. So
I didn't clear.
everybody don't call breakthrough. Also a good time to remind people nobody is going to give trading advice
No
here.
trading
We don't give
advice.
No
trading
trading
advice. We're
advice.
going to say stupid stuff and it's our thoughts, not breakthrough thoughts, not trading advice.
Correct. That's correct. Yes. So,
That's good. So what's day to day?
oh, day to day, just a lot of client conversations. How they can manage fuel price risk, how we think about our solution versus some of the other solutions that we've seen out there in breaking out consumption in individual trading regions, if you will, and hedging based on the regionality of where they're actually consuming fuel versus a national wholesale base hedging mechanism. A lot of education, execution, reporting coming in a month end. A lot of partner with US Energy, which is our physical trading arm for the liquidity side of things. So work very closely with the individuals on that desk over there. So
Hmm.
So,
we're working to expand our capability some and out into other geographies as well.
so you're talking to shippers every day. So
Correct.
Okay.
Shippers. Yeah,
What
that's my client base. Yep.
and so what are they worried about today? I mean, I get whether it's specific to the things you're trying to help with or because I mean, when we used to talk to farmers, they'd say, "Well, can you help me with health insurance?" Right? That was like a common question back then. I'm curious, obviously both specific to market, but are there other things, kind of a macro environment thing that you're hearing stress from?
It's a great question. Fuel's top of mind. Price of fuel. Nick, where are we going to be on December 7th?
Love that
So
question.
yeah, yeah. Um, Freight is a topic that comes up a ton. Nick, do you got a solution where we can come in and hedge freight? Um, I think it's it's interesting. We don't today, but something that from Breakthrough's perspective, we sit in a really good position to help could potentially come up with some sort of risk management solution there tied to freight. Now, on the freight side of things, right, it's so, you've got an origin destination pairing, Milwaukee to Atlanta, right? That's a very specific pairing. It's not yellow number two corn delivered Chicago,
Yeah, right.
so there's all those individual lanes carry a specific spec, so but is there some way you can index those lanes potentially, and make it maybe make it more regional based or something like that? So,
And
I'd say
they're
freight,
looking to be able to like predict or like quote a price for delivering some lane and
yeah, 53 foot trailer, contracting that 6 months to 6 to 12 months out,
yeah,
and doing that thousands and thousands of times over, depending on
yeah.
how big your network is and how many miles, you consume in your network on an annual basis.
But
And I would say they do hedge in some respect where they don't forward contract everything. They do leave some spot capacity there.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think we've seen. I don't have a chart in front of me or haven't seen a chart recently, but I think we've seen freight rates pressure to the upside on freight rates. So
Yeah, well, I mean, in industry, there's a couple things going on. So we have our own trucks, but we also do quite a bit of 3PL, shipping lettuce like we
yeah,
do. And
yeah,
one of the things I know the way at least we book the 3PL stuff is I think it's every 6 months we lock in a contract. But when I've been talking, we've got a great team that handles those logistics here, and I know they're talking a lot about how many CDLs have been taken out of the market, right? So administration's gotten a lot tougher on real IDs and things like that, and so it turns out a lot of folks with CDL licenses may not speak English, may or may not be here through legal immigration means, and so that's taken a ton of drivers out of the market. So we have this like nasty combo of elevated fuel prices, especially on top, like general inflation anyway was driving price up. Now you've got the Strait of Hormuz still uh, turns out a little precarious getting through there, and then
We're in a
pulling
ceasefire,
drivers out.
man. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, everything's
we've got an MOU. What do you mean, Gabe? Come on.
Yeah. Thing's rock solid.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
Don't
things
man,
want to
rock
hold on
solid.
to
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Yeah, so
yeah,
so like that storm of things has put stress like on the entire infrastructure, right? Any one of those is a big challenge, and then mix up all three, and it's gotten a lot tighter. Yeah, it is painful. So
I-
so they're looking at freight specifically. So they're running certain lanes quite a bit, and they're saying, hey, on the freights. And so when they say freight, is that the all-in price to move 10 pounds, or is that like a truck? Like what does that mean when they talk about that?
it depends. It could be full truckload. It could be LTL, less than truckload. Yeah, it depends. It could be marine, so containers. Um, yeah, it depends on, what kind of network they're operating. So, reefer. So, yeah. I think when you talk about like what are top of mind, like from a marine standpoint, You talk about geopolitical conflict and insurance costs, right? Like insurance costs are skyrocketing on the marine side of things. So
That's rolling all the
it's
way back into the general infrastructure. Like the I mean, is it just affecting stuff that's headed out to port, or are those insurance costs driving up costs across the board?
it's a good question. I would say certainly driving up shipping costs. I think our one thing we try to do at Breakthrough is we try to really piece apart fuel and freight and keep those two things separate.
Sure.
Gabe, I don't know if your transport folks, if that's all an one all-in rate, fuel
We
plus freight.
we get one all. It's a one all in deal, but there's obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, there are fuel surcharges, right? If when the market does these unexpected things, where
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
all in, but
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Nick, just to be clear, freight then is like horsepower and labor kind of
Capacity.
capacity. Yeah. Right.
Capacity. So
Yeah.
truck, truck, 53-foot trailer or flatbed,
Yeah.
whatever capacity you need to move your good.
Got it.
But yeah, on the marine side of things, insurance costs, I think it's interesting because getting a lot more inquiries on, hey, we want to hedge our bunker fuel. And is that a function of like, there's likely some component tied to fuel price going up, but also is insurance being wrapped in there, right? So we got to kind of tease that out because if it's tied to insurance, you could start to lose some relationship between the actual price of fuel and your hedging mechanism, you know?
Hmm.
I think about ocean freight, right? Just because we love to talk about Cargill, at least it used to be Cargill is the largest user of dry bulk ocean freight in the world. They have a huge ocean freight business. There are years it makes $1 billion. And so, like, used to talk to them occasionally about, I think, similar questions, but I was talking about vessel freight and capacity, ocean vessel. So one of the fascinating things there is the way that market works is you basically buy the rights to a boat to tell the boat where to go for 6, 12 months. The other fascinating thing is with every single one of those contracts came baked in an option to extend for X number of months at no additional cost, which was, or I should say, at the same
At the same
cost.
price. Right. Yeah.
And so when we were talking to them, nobody's really pricing that in. Like there wasn't a financial model, there wasn't a Black-Scholes model pricing in that, and it was also challenging because the actual shipping lanes are different, but at the same time, it was a little bit fungible because you got to tell the boat where to go. Like it may normally go, I don't know, where New York to Singapore, but now you wanted to go Melbourne to um, I don't know, Norway,
Yeah.
right? You could tell the boat to do that. And so, but I think there is some sort of ocean freight market now, but it's probably feels like trading rough rice. I don't know.
That's good. The Baltic, what is it? Baltic Dry Index, I think
Yeah,
might be like a container
yeah.
board, but I haven't looked at it in some time. So
But
yeah.
like I mean, I think that's what I'm hearing is part of the struggle with trucks is you don't actually buy the right for a truck because that's like a dude or a pair of drivers that are going,
Yeah.
they have some home base, right? Like
Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
Gina and Sue are not interested in your LA to New York route. They just want to do Milwaukee, Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The trucking industry is interesting though, because you do have your mom and pop shops that the smaller carriers, I don't know, maybe 10 units or less, power units or less. And you see some of our larger shippers really want to partner with those clients because they show up. They're on
Mm.
time. Like there's a ton of value in that, not only from a price perspective, but just showing up, being on time. They're going to get their product from A to B. And it's you know who you're dealing with instead of a corporate carrier.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So they're
Yeah.
they're more excited about that mom and pop. That's
It's like it's
I
like
don't
when
deal
we
with
come
the
in, like
yeah, I would say, well, I don't deal with the shipment side at all. Like I would not have necessarily thought that. Like I would have thought that team that small company would struggle to source their drivers, but they're more
And
reliable.
But yeah, I've been in a couple meetings where it's like we somebody's going into an RFP, right? And they've got all their lanes out here, but it's like, hey, don't touch these lanes because, this is run by, so and so. Like we've got a great
Yeah.
relationship with them. We know that they're going to show up, get our product there on time, whatever it may be. Like this is,
Yeah.
from a security standpoint, like that's another big thing right now. A theme is just cargo theft in general.
Cargo
Um,
theft.
yeah, theft on trailers and
What? Wait, is this some Wild Wild West stuff where like people are riding up along and like Knight Rider and
I
like
think like it's
or what?
a I mean, there's I mean, it's billions of dollars of economic impact tied to theft.
Okay.
I think it's probably concentrated more towards the southern border.
Okay.
Whether it's rail or on intermodal or truckload.
Wow.
Hmm.
So,
But yeah,
but I mean, is
I
it
think
stuff falling off the back of the truck where like they're taking stuff out of it like when nobody's looking, or is it like people stealing whole hog the
the
whatever
trailer.
the
It's
container
like
or the
it's almost
trailer?
like you've got a GPS unit on the trailer on a like a air tag, right?
Yep.
Essentially in the trailer. It's like air tag shows up at the destination, but the product never showed up or the shipment never showed up at the destination. That type of stuff. Yeah.
And
So
drivers
hearing,
like,
yeah, I don't know, who knows how many hands that might pass through or,
sure,
so, but
yeah.
I think that was
yeah.
actually the plot to Fast and Furious like
I,
9.
I think so.
I don't know.
I
I
think you're
remember
right.
seeing one, yeah,
That
briefly.
feels like one of them. Maybe it was probably one of the earlier ones, two or three.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll be
So
that would never have occurred to me that that was a major problem. Um,
yeah.
I don't think
When you
people are
look,
stealing a lot of our lettuce. I don't know if I should be offended or not.
Hey, I'll tell you what, last couple of weeks, your lettuce was a
yeah,
premium product.
yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
I,
I'll tell you what, my wife might have considered stealing your lettuce when she came home and declared that there will be no fruits and vegetables in this house for some amount of time. I was like, sweet, man. I was like, I've been here for 3 weeks already. Preventative care.
I've been waiting all my life to hear
Yeah,
that.
this was like the best news I ever heard.
Man, you, you guys must have Little Leaf by you guys. I think we're serving. You don't go. We're in Walmart and stuff, man. You
I'm not
I
the lettuce
Man,
guy.
all right. I'm
yeah.
gonna I'm gonna go after this call. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna find the stores. I'll send me, and you can hand them over to Destiny. So yeah, that's been crazy. We're hurting. Look, people are doing what your house is doing, where they're like, we're not touching anything in the produce section now.
Yeah, so it hurts everything, right? That's part
Hurts
of it. Yeah.
everything. I think we're hurting a lot less relative to, well, so one, the problem's in lettuce, and so we're lettuce, so we're doing worse than, I don't know, fruits.
Yeah.
But within the lettuce category, I think we're doing less bad than other folks. And what's funny is anecdotally, the team of people have shared like they've been in the store and like looking. They'll stand behind somebody who's like looking at the lettuce section, see them Google their phone, and then they'll pick up the little leaf.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
That's good. That's impressive.
Yeah, I
so
will say we're back on fruit. I noticed we got fresh strawberries in the fridge this morning when I looked. They narrowed it. I know I'm not gonna name the lettuce company, but they nailed it down to that in this house. So we don't buy that very specific thing, and now we're back on the good.
Back
Some
on.
of us, not all of us, are back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
any talk about that in your house, Nick?
Not much. We just, I don't know, we wash and go, and I think we've been pretty good. I mean, I think we've been more conscious of what we've been buying, but not, we haven't really stopped eating. Eating, fruits and vegetables and lettuce. I would say we're still pretty on par. So,
I I feel like in my house the rules change day to day. Um, so,
yeah,
but I've it's been made very clear to me every time I go to the greenhouse, I need to be bringing lettuce home. So
Yeah.
lettuce back. Yeah,
So it's
I ate
definitely.
funny.
2 pounds yesterday.
It was, yeah. Yeah, you like eat a pound at a time. Me and Gabe had a call one day and he had a pound of lettuce. You know what a pound of lettuce looks like? It looks like a bale of hay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gigantic.
Well, so we have food service bags that are a pound and a half. So what I'll generally do is when I go in the morning, I will go grab a food service bag and just eat it throughout the morning. Um,
Do you,
that's it.
do you just eat like lettuce or do you put like
Nope, just
croutons and like
lettuce. No, no, no. I'm not eating like a Caesar salad with my
salad in a
hands.
bag or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Is there much
We have
nutritional
salad
value
kits.
there? Like, are you getting anything out of that?
Well, so there's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit, but I mean, lettuce, the, I think most of the taste comes from the fertilizer, right? And a little bit from the seed. And it, it, it's funny, depending on the weather, it will taste a little bit different. So
Hmm.
that even as a greenhouse, like you do that. But no, it's not a primary source of nutrition. Like if you want that, that's where you start to go like to spinach or something. We'll
Yeah.
have more.
So like hot and dry, do you get like spicier lettuce?
Uh, you don't get it's that's when it starts to get a little more bitter.
Okay.
Uh,
So
right. So like basically the tougher the weather is, like so when it's hotter,
yeah.
the lettuce is like working harder at growing, and so then it burns, I think, some of the sugars that
Hmm.
would normally be in there, and so it gets a little more bitter. And then obviously, when it's not, it's sweeter. So the crop grows a lot bigger in the summer in general because there's a lot more light because we have greenhouses, right? So we've got a bunch of artificial lights, but we heavily rely on the sun. And then in the winter, it's more artificial. They're just at the end of the day not getting as much light, but it's cooler. So the plant really wants a cool, dry environment to grow in. So with a lot of light. So as much so yeah, those are the broad trends.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
I'm not a lettuce grower. Like I feel like I need to stay that on the same level as like I'm not giving any
This is
trading
not
advice.
marketed.
Like
Yeah.
everything I've learned, it comes from the growing team, right? And I'm not a grower, but I play one on TV. Like that's what I feel like right now.
That's good.
Um,
Gabe, I
so
never sent you pictures of my lettuce. I was going to, but now it's like 4 foot tall. I don't think your guys recommend letting their lettuce grow 4 foot
we would
tall.
say that's a little big. Yeah, the
Yeah, a little
quality
big.
starts
Yeah.
to suffer
I'm guessing
over.
it's pretty bitter. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe you got some awesome variety we've never heard of.
I don't think so. I think I just got lazy.
You're just trying
But
to grow
it
food for the bats.
well, yeah. But it did come in handy during the lettuce scare. So when we were off lettuce, we were eating garden lettuce. So that was good.
All right.
The
That
Dwight,
is, yeah.
the Dwight varietal.
Dwight variety, yeah. A little romaine-ish. I'd call it romaine-ish. I don't know if it's actual romaine.
Oh.
Tell
Where
you what,
where did you get the seeds from, Rodney?
Ace Hardware,
All
of
right. Yeah.
course.
It's
Yeah.
probably lettuce.
Yeah. I'd probably have the seed over here somewhere. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think most of our seeds come from Dutch genetic companies.
I'm guessing you get a better deal on them than I do, like per seed.
Per seed, probably. I would
Yeah.
imagine we're being honest.
so
That's insane.
do you guys like forward contract then all your production?
Uh, I wish. No. Oh man. Like in the grain world, right?
Yeah.
Like what we talk about here, right? There's futures and
Yeah.
there's basis and whatever. I can make a contract for 3 years from now and know the price, and
Yeah.
like this is entirely a cash market. So I mean, so in two really frustrating ways as a trader. So one, the price doesn't move. So our price is our price. Like we don't have fuel surcharges. I suspect if there was a massive dislocation, like I don't know, $150 a barrel or something, we'd probably have to have a talk about it. Um, but but in general, you don't change your price, and that's not a little leaf thing. That's in CPG for this type of stuff. You don't really change your price. When you do, it's a whole conversation. It's not a trade, right? It's not like, oh, the market's this now. Uh, the other thing is we don't know what somebody's going to order from us like week to week. So there's normal, like we generally have an idea of like how much space we've got in the store. Or I shouldn't say generally. We know how much space we've
Yeah.
got in the store, but the big question is throughput, right? Like how much lettuce are people buying? Uh,
Hmm.
So it's very, and because I mean it's a fresh product, right? It's not like corn where you can throw it in a pile and leave
Right.
it there for 8 months. Like you like it has a lifespan of about 20 to 25 days,
Yeah.
which by the way for lettuce really good. Um, but yeah, I mean when you buy the field stuff because they have to wash it 3 times, it's all wet, and so I don't know, probably 12, 13 days, I would
Hmm.
guess.
You- 6 crops a year, 35 to
Yeah,
25. Or oh no,
12,
no,
12
you're
crops a year.
no 12 crops a year,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the life cycle, 25-day shelf life is 60-day. Yeah,
Yeah,
so end to end life
Hmm.
cycles. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
A little different than corn, huh?
yeah. So as a data guy, it like with when I put that hat on, it's cool because it's a ton of data. Like it's a um, so
One of the
we
adjustments I had to make coming over to the energy side of things is basis, right? Like you can turn on a pipeline and ship product pretty quick, right? Compared to the grain side of things, it's
Got it.
just, it took me a bit to, just really wrap my head around that component.
So there is no basis, like it's
There's regional basis, and you'll see blowouts, coming into harvest potentially calling for product to come in, but man, they can write that market pretty quick, like in days, like 2 or 3 days.
got it.
You're kind of
Yeah,
back to, basis levels that you were pre-blowout or something like that.
sure.
It took me a bit to comprehend that.
and, when you drive through like Kansas and Texas and you see all those kind of mom and pop oil wells, like they literally just turn on and off. Like if it's profitable, they run, and if it's not, they're off.
All right.
Right?
Hmm.
Like that.
Yeah.
I think it's largely automated now for any of
Yeah.
those
I'm
folks.
sure it
And that
is.
just immediately fills the pipeline and goes to where it needs to go. That's what you're saying. Like,
Yeah. Well, so when Nick, what do you mean when you say basis blowout?
Calling for product into a particular region. Like if they're short on diesel, right, into a region, they'll need to ship diesel down that pipeline to get it into that particular region. I'm thinking about like the Rockies or the group region. So come harvest time frame, if there's a significant draw on diesel due to harvest, they'll raise basis levels, 50 over, 70 over, I don't even know what it might be, right? And they'll call that diesel in essentially, but you'll see that back to, plus 10 or 10 over or onch, within a couple days, 3 to 5 days.
hmm,
They
So,
still have to run the process to generate the product, right? So, but
correct.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of like if like somebody needed I don't know corn sweetener, right? Like
Yeah.
corn syrup or something in a hurry, if you could
Yeah.
turn the corn on and off, because you still have to run it through the processor,
Yeah.
but the ability to get supply that you didn't have is super dynamic.
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot topic here, Nick, lately on guys are like thinking about their fuel costs and how to hedge them. And, it's not my thing. I've never been in that part of the business, but I'm surprised there's not, hey, I can just go buy diesel ahead of time or, I don't, what's that market look like? Or why are farmers not using this stuff or in tune with it?
Um, It's interesting you say that. I would say my counterpart on the physical energy side of things, a lot of his clientele are his clients are farmers, construction companies, and he's supplying like he's doing like a fixed forward into those locations, right? So they're able to get the supply with that hedged price or that hedged level. I think he's
When you
looked.
say farmers, is that like a co-op where they're selling diesel, or is it actual individual farmers?
It could be, it's a good question. I don't know specifically on
Okay.
that. I would say the one that comes to mind locally in Wisconsin is a larger dairy operation.
Okay.
So it's probably a larger operation,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know, 10 to 15,000 acre grower or something like that. Maybe I don't
But
know
they're just
exactly.
cash
So
forward contracts, right? Where a guy's got,
correct.
I got 1,000 gallon
Correct.
tank. by 1,000
I
gallons.
need I need that. And I know, based on historical use, I know I'm going to need this come October, November, December timeframe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, Rodney,
Yeah.
I'll tell you historically, it's because it's too small, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, what is it? 40,000, 42,000 gallons on the,
42,000 gallons. Yeah.
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
contract? Like, is it, man, doing a lot of Cargill talk. So one of the things I did when I was at Cargill, you remember the CAMS program?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked with the legal team to get we were able to embed the ability to hedge your diesel costs through your CAMS contract. So we embedded a diesel fuel rebate structure in the CAMS contract. So if the
Mm.
market shot up,
Mm.
you'd get up to your full CAM subscription uh, money back.
You and your derivatives. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't know that anybody did it, but it was one of those things that like people asked for, and so like figured out this way to deliver it, and then I don't think anybody did it. But it's
We would settle, speaking from the op side of things, we would settle like maybe $7 to $21 a month tied to a heating oil contract. So I think someone did it, but it was seriously like seven. It was a rounding error, Rodney.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I get. That must be part of it because I think, guys might have 1,000 gallon diesel tanks. I don't think that's much more than that. And I
Yeah.
don't think everybody even has that. So, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
even know how long it takes them to burn 1,000 gallons of
I,
diesel.
I was gonna say it feels like one of those things that the moment they're filling it up, they're just pissed about the price of diesel, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then over the next 2 years they forget about it, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
the next
Right.
time they're filling it up, they're pissed about it. Yeah.
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 um, which I have a lot of empathy for. We could talk about the behavioral biases in that, but I think that's what's going on
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Nick, are they? I guess is there any other? So we talked about theft, like that was a new one for me. Hadn't thought about that at all. Ronnie, is there any corn theft going on? Like that used to be a thing. I feel like sometimes.
I know of some, yeah, I mean, here and there. Where I've heard of it is like you hire trucking companies to come in and pick grain up off hours kind of
Yeah.
deal. And sometimes those weights don't add up the way you think they should. I don't think anybody's stealing truckloads of corn, but there's definitely some skimping here and there. And I will say things have gotten a lot tighter since then, right? Like when I first started, there was a lot of like hand tickets and Jimmy
But,
picks up his corn at night and that's fine, right? All that has tightened up. Everything goes over a scale these days. So I'm
well,
guessing.
you'd even hear stories about people at scales. There was a guy we know who when he started worked at an elevator, and he said the guy would rest his cigar tip on the scale or something, so
Yeah,
that
for
like
sure.
because the way it was set up, it would lighten it up a little bit, like
Yeah.
because he
Well,
was
the old
running.
the old foot trick too. You can like, on those old scales, you could kind of like lift up on your foot and then stamp the ticket.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so Dan Mahachko used to always tell me like the goal was to be as fast on the pull, like the stamp, as possible. Because I think there was some deal where like a truck would pull up and like the scale would like do one of these when he stopped, and it was like, man, if you could catch that at the right time, you could make, I don't know, 50 pounds or what, I
Sure,
don't know.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But I will say, I do know some guys. So pretty common practice around here, and Nick, it actually comes back to the knowing the truck driver, like these mom and pop shops, right? So mom and pop shops, my dad being one of those, gets, guys are okay with filling them at night after the elevator's closed, and then they just take it home to their house and they deliver it like the next day, right? And I know there's a few guys I've dealt with that would not let anybody ever do that at their farm. They didn't make that up. They definitely, like, you have some battle scars if you're saying, hey, this 80-year-old guy can't take my corn home for 6 hours,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so for sure that happened.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
I looked it up here. Cargo theft losses up to 35 billion per year in the US. Incidents increased 27% in 2024 and are projected to rise another this was a little dated, another 22% in 2025.
That
I
probably
never.
funds Facebook Marketplace. That's probably half of what you see on Facebook. Like, hey, I got why does this guy have 17 TVs for sale? That's always weird.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all unboxed. That's strange. I,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny. At one point when I was working with the metals group, we were going to like all these scrap metal dealers to like where we were trying to put some deal together, and those guys have tons of TVs and stuff. Like so they're because just they get the scrap stuff, and so they'll always put like a little bit of time to see if they can fix a TV, and then they'll
Hmm.
and so they end up being that's your 17 TVs right there. Um, so
I'd say
yeah,
other common, other common themes in the transport, sustainability, I think is certainly something that shippers are looking at from a alternative energy standpoint, seeing more or interest in RNG, nat gas. Um,
why?
it's a good question. I think there's consumers calling for it in some respect, on shelves. Um, I think maybe as of late, I think there's certainly some corporate pressure in there, some 2030 metrics and goals
Is
that they're
there?
trying to meet,
Okay,
right?
Like scope 3 stuff, right?
Scope 3 stuff,
Yeah.
correct. Yes, there is. Maybe it's been called back, maybe not as much as we saw last like 2 to 3 years, 4 years,
It's all
you
gone,
know?
man. I haven't heard anything about
well, that's
2030.
that's what I was asking. Is I hear more stuff about like Southeast Asia is getting on board with all this sustainability stuff, and like some of these other places that were not on it. But like here, it seems I thought the rhetoric had largely gone away and nobody cared. But like that's why I guess Rodney and I are pushing. Like to be honest, I'd be glad to hear if there was still some genuine corporate drive on the sustainability side. So
I
like
think
when
there's still
they're at,
some. I don't think it's as prevalent as it was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
okay.
So I do wonder, Gabe, how much of that is just the echo chamber we were in at the time? Like that was a daily discussion where like no nobody's talking about today.
Uh, I saw actually a super helpful thing. Was it Larry Fink? Is that the guy that runs
BlackRock
Blackstone?
or
BlackRock? I
Blackstone.
can't
Yeah.
remember which one. Whatever, one of them. So somebody did an analysis on his annual reports, his annual shareholder letter, and like basically looking for key terms. And so sustainability used to be huge, and it has come off hard, right? And I think and so they're a leader in some of these more um, uh, trying to be socially relevant around investments. And so for them in particular, it's changed from sustainability, which is now pretty low in terms of its coming up. They talk a lot about financial inclusion as a thing like that. That's where that attention's gone on a macro level. So no, I get you on the echo chamber. I don't think I do think the drop. I mean, look, definitely the drop in interest in it is, or I shouldn't say interest, the drop in pressure to comply or drive towards a more sustainable operation has absolutely come off. Um,
Yeah, so to me that means like the SEC must be out there saying, "Hey, we're not gonna,
yep.
send people to jail anymore." That was
Yeah. I mean, they
the
threw
big
out
thing.
all the reports. So that, I mean, there was a whole bunch of reporting legislation that was supposed to be going into effect. That all got rolled back,
Hmm.
if not totally tossed. I don't know what state it's at. Like that. So that was the big one, probably, that was going to create transparency in terms of the actual environmental impact companies were having, and that's all gone, right? I
Yeah.
mean, not a shocker. Yeah, it to be honest, it's interesting. It's notable that Canada's kept it up, just because like I worked a ton in Canada, and I know on the farmer side, there's always complaints about the amount of subsidies in the U.S. that the U.S. farmer gets, right? Obviously, a lot of competition there,
Yeah.
cross border. At the same time, we also know Canada has a lot of subsidies for everybody, like
Yeah.
healthcare and things like that. So it's, there's whatever this and that. The When we were more into that side of things around, I mean, the Canadian regs around sustainability were going to hit farmers pretty hard.
Yeah.
Uh, and I guess, similar to the U.S., large voting contingents on the coasts, smaller groups in the center of the country, and so may not have as much pull. But I mean, Mark Carney is like a huge environmentalist. That's his whole thing. Um, and so yeah. So I think it's still real up there. I could definitely see, Nick, if your customers are moving north of the border, like do a lot of shipping north, like that would make sense to me. That scope three is still a concern. Uh,
But
How much?
there's also tax credits. It's weird that we've forgotten about it from the SEC perspective because there's tax credits out there for the sustainability, like 45Z, 40B is one. I think I assume there's like manufacturing, you know, credits that are along the same lines.
they, they've been pulling those back, right? There used to be huge EV credits; those all went
Mm.
away. A lot of the solar, renewable energy stuff has gone away. Um, it is difficult to pull back entitlements from a constituency like your farmer, right? Like that's a tough rollback. It obviously, yeah. Uh, rolling back entitlements is always hard, right? And the last group you're going to pull it from is your voters,
Yeah.
and um, so I yeah, I don't think it's a surprise those credits are still there. I don't, as we all know, like a unfortunately large part of any business operation is trying to figure out the tax game,
Yeah.
and like if you found a way to take advantage of those, good on you. And why wouldn't you take them? That has nothing. I guess I look at that as you don't have to believe in sustainability or the need for those
100%.
changes or anything else, right? Like, and that's, I think, great. It's hard, right? If it's hard on the liberal side to argue getting rid of a tax credit for sustainability, like, and
Yeah.
so it's a great political maneuver, right? Like, and ultimately, if it does drive more sustainable practice, great. Like,
Sure. Right.
happy to have it.
I
But
I
yeah,
think
anyway, so yeah, I don't know, Nick. I would definitely be curious where, like, is that just they're on the tail end of the scope three pressure rolling back, or is it, are they dealing with a global
it's a good
customer
question.
base that's putting the
Yeah.
pressure on them?
You know what? It's actually a fair amount could be global, European team,
Mm.
pressuring things a bit. So
Yeah,
yeah, there could be certainly some of that.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
Europe's putting in cross border,
yeah,
penalties and stuff like that. So yeah, if that's the case, then totally makes sense.
makes sense. Yeah. I think electrification though we're still a ways out, right? Operating in northern climates, I think we've seen electrification in the yards, more than certainly over the road, application. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Rodney, how are we doing in corn?
Oh, God, it's been a wild ride. Nick, you following corn these days?
I haven't, but I took a ride out rural Minnesota here.
Yeah.
Man, the corn it looks good.
You're in the
It's gotta be 15 foot tall, Rodney.
you're in the best spot in the whole world right now,
Oh,
man, for sure. It keeps coming up, Minneapolis. Yeah, it's a big deal.
oh man, it looks good. So
Yeah.
but I haven't seen from a price standpoint, is D's 420-ish? Or
Down hard today. We're like, no, we've rallied since then, Nick. So we're like 462 last tick, down
oh,
five.
okay.
It's been a crazy, crazy year. So, market kind of took a pretty typical seasonal dip early on. We put in a new low, but it was weird. It was June 30th. We put in a contract low for D's 26. Which, yeah,
Does
I
that
see the
report?
face, Nick. I mean, now looking back, it's like that's the low. But that day, it was like, oh man, we are gonna tank this thing, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
390s in the cards. It felt like on that day. And for whatever it just seems in the last couple weeks, well, essentially, we haven't had a good Midwestern rain except for Nick's backyard since the
yeah.
4th of July, essentially. So. Then we had some really hot weather come in. USDA decided to tighten up the balance sheet a little bit. So they, it's funny, me and a bunch of other guys, we keep talking about this feed and residual. So on the corn market, it's kind of a way for the USDA to adjust the output. So you'll see if they raise yield in a report, a lot of times you'll see them like increase feed and residual usage to kind of take away at that, right? And it just, I'm sure, I don't know what the actual thing is, but it feels like they use that as a little adjusting tool.
Sure.
So, pretty much the whole industry that I talked to all year long was like, yeah, I mean, pretty soon they're going to lower that feed and residual, right? Pretty soon they're going to lower that feed and residual. And we would bet every WASD report, like, oh, here, I bet it's 110 million. The last report, which I think was June 30th, there when it printed that low, they increased feed and residual 100. So,
Oh,
like, yeah, it's just been chaos.
I mean, I'm looking at the chart here. Yeah, we printed 424-ish on the 30th, and we ran a 491 last week, a week ago.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And just like anything else, I sent this meme to all my guys that I made up, and it was like, the guy pushing the button like he's like nervous about which button to press. He's like a superhero. And one was stick with the plan, and two was buy calls, right? And he's like sweating, like, I don't know what I want to do. I thought about you a lot in the last couple weeks, Gabe. But you left me out to dry. You were in Italy, so I couldn't even call you to ask you.
He was doing
But
20 miles a day.
yeah, but man, it felt, it's just like anything else. And this is what I love and hate about the grain market is that 491, Nick. I mean, that day it was like, holy crap, corn's going to 550, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
491
Yeah.
is just on the way to 550.
I,
And then here
I
we
mean, you run like that in 3 weeks, and you're like, oh yeah, we're for sure breaking five here. We're going to five and a quarter, and then we're going to 550.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just get out of the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just tough, and volatility went through the roof, and So anyway, the nice thing is a lot of guys. I mean, I think the farm gate in general is probably more sold this year than they've been ever at this time of year, and I think it's because last year really sucked. Like last year was really hard on them. We saw some rallies. I'll tell you the way break evens are today. $5 corn, unless you're like you still have to have a monster yield to really make any money at that. But you know we like to
So would you
keep
say
corn at about
they're
420.
50 to 70% sold for new crop?
that's what I
I'd
was
say,
going to ask.
I think guys that are comfortable selling ahead are probably on average about 50% sold. That probably puts the industry as a whole at
20.
25% or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm well, no, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm surprised more didn't move at 5, but I'm not.
oh, dude, at five, if that like that, what I think about all the time, Gabe, is you saying the market is the most bullish at the top,
Yeah.
right? Like that is how it works. Um, I do regret I had some 506 orders in there. Nick, you can see that high is like 505 and a half.
I'm
So we
looking
missed
at it
that by
now.
a
I'm
couple.
looking at it now. Oh
Yeah.
man.
But hey, I stand by it, man. Put orders in, let them tick off, right? You can do that all day long. And I think we spent about 5 seconds at 505 and a half.
Yep. Yep. And
I,
then yeah,
I
you're
think I,
down. I mean, yeah, it's almost like you were down the following 2 days. You were trading 480-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
yeah, it looks tough, man. I mean that's more volatility than you'd
Yeah.
expect to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nick, if you somebody pull up that chart. Gabe, can you share?
I got it. I got it. I mean,
I'll walk you through my summer so far. That's been interesting for sure.
I can't wait. All right, here we go.
How's the crop on Connor Family Farms while he's pulling that up?
Yeah.
We were pretty good. It's starting to deteriorate though. So we're supposed to get a rain. I see the pavement's wet out here. They're calling for like a 2-inch soaker this
We
week.
got
And
that's a we're working on. I think we're north of 2 now, and it's been raining probably since 1, 2 a.m. right around there. And it's still, I can see it's still raining out now, but I checked the rain gauge. I can see the rain gauge here. We're north of 2.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
All right.
so
So
they're
we got
calling for that pretty much nationwide.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if you just squint your eyes a little bit, and if you took that chart back further, you'd see that 470 mark was kind of like support and resistance for a long time, right? So it's
Yeah.
trading both. See, there's
right
the
here.
before it's resistance, we blast through it, it becomes support. We put in a new high, and then the market just tanks, right? So I remember I had a bunch of stop orders working, Gabe, thanks to you, at like 465-ish. And it was like, hey, if we break down there, we're probably gonna, feel really good about it. Everybody hated that stop order. Everybody was like, oh God, I hate everything about it. And it's like, yeah, I know. This is how we gotta do it. My favorite quote was a guy said, "So we're just gonna try to catch the falling knife." Like that's
Yeah.
that's that's the way he envisioned it. And then it goes to 420. It was 425 and a quarter. I happen to know because I had a bunch of accumulators that were going to stop out at 425, so we just missed those. So that was good. And then it was like we had 2 or 3 weeks where you just feel real good about that, 465 sale, feel really good about everything you had. And then, man, that USDA tightened up that stocks number and we just screamed higher instantly. So it's been volatile for sure.
Yeah. So that's that March report. Yeah.
Let's see.
So we got that
I feel like I got to
like,
talk about the catch the falling knife. Catching a falling knife in the market is when you're trying to buy the low, right? You're trying to catch it when it's coming down.
Okay. Well, I mean, he
I
was saying,
just want to be clear.
yeah.
The stop order is getting out of the way of the falling knife.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I like
you
that.
can you can let that guy know that's
yeah.
how that works.
Yeah. Well, and like, the most frustrating thing about the corn market in particular, well, beans are actually even worse here, is we just never had a day where you felt really good about a sale. Like, it's just kind of like you're doing decent risk management and then the market's up 10, right? And you're like, all right, I'll sell some more and do some decent risk management, market's up 10. And then you add in that volatility. It's just been a really tough marketing year.
Yeah.
I want to see what lumber's doing, which I know is crazy. But the lumber market like got really weird. Like so it shot up right out of COVID, and then I think for a while after was super volatile. I'm just curious what it
Yes.
looks like now.
That
Oh, that is
sounds
volatile.
that
Gap
sounds right.
cities.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean that is a lot of volatility, but not as much as I would have expected. Or not. I don't really had. I didn't have a lot of expectations, but that. I mean, I guess to be fair, that is a 20% jump. So then I'm yeah.
What's driving that? What is that?
I don't know. I'd like to pretend I know a lot about lumber, but I do not. Uh, the random lord. I always it's always in the not always. It's in the back of my head. There was a pit on the Merc floor that was the lumber pit, and there were like six guys in there, and they would do nothing, and you'd bring an order over to them once every 3 weeks, and like they'd look at it, and and like almost nothing would trade ever, and whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I mean open interest here, 1,200 contracts, right? Like
Hmm.
not a lot happening. Sorry,
Hey, pull
as
up a no bean chart.
yeah. Oh my god, it's mad at me because I haven't logged in yet. All right, all right.
So keep in mind, Nick, on this one, which you probably followed this a little closer, I'd imagine, on being on the fuel side, but um, came off of a record U.S. soybean crop, followed by a record Brazilian soybean crop. It was like, and we're in a bull market, and it's like, God, you gotta sell into this thing, right? You gotta sell into it. And it's just been slapping you in the face all the way up
Yeah. Look at
until,
that.
essentially Monday.
What's the story here? Acres?
So it is a tight stocks to use ratio
Yeah.
for sure. I think we're like 4.6 right now using trendline yield on beans. Bean market got off to a rough start in the first place. I don't know what the hell happened to the Brazilian crop. It just like they must have just all used it there. I don't know. It never really showed up on the futures market for me. And then some excitement around China, buying beans next year. They made some commitments. I think the fear here is if China doesn't show up and meet those commitments, it leaves a gigantic hole in what we've got going on. But what's off the charts here is soybean crush margins, right? I mean, they won't slow a plant down for nothing right now.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
crushing. Doesn't matter what we pay for it. Just crush it.
What's that
You know,
corn bean ratio? 2.5, 2.6-ish?
So I think
Right around there.
so I've switched out to D or to 27 is 2.38.
2.38.
Yeah. Which is like right even, right? Or right where you'd expect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, long story short in corn and soybeans is definitely tightening balance sheet based on a lot of assumptions. So we'll see where it all plays out. Um, but it's fairly friendly-ish right now. It's this weird time of year where it's like, hey, overall long term, fairly friendly. If we catch a 2-inch rain this weekend across the whole United States, I mean, we could definitely print a new low in December corn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Y- You guys will
live
start
cattle.
harvesting beginning of September?
What's that?
You get
Uh,
harvest in your area?
we're like last half September for
Last
soybean.
half. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then corn will fire up in October.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's that live cattle chart, Rodney.
Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast today. It's well off, right?
Well, it's off the highs, but I mean, it's still
Yeah, it's still firm.
double normal prices. Like, let's be clear. It's
Yeah,
still
that's right.
2x, right? This is like as if corn was at 650 or something or $7. Like,
Yeah,
actually,
sure.
it's not even. It's like as if corn was $13 is what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story here?
I mean, it's the ongoing story of shrinking herds
Hmm.
and weather, like making it difficult to get the herds back up, on top of the macro protein dietary increase in the UN.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, then there was the screwworm story
Yeah,
that
that
like
killed
where
a
they
bunch of
shut
stuff
off
in Texas.
imports from Mexico.
Mm.
So put a little more of
Yeah.
a hit. And they just loosened that up. So I don't think anything's crossing the border yet, but they have a plan to open the border to Mexican cattle again. So, I think that's that dip that you see at the end there,
Yeah.
kind of that announcement.
So yeah, still super high. Yeah, because I don't know what the record was before 2 years ago, but I'm sure it was like 180. I would guess
Okay.
Yeah. I
170
don't know if it
somewhere in
was, I don't
there.
know if
I
it was
shouldn't say I'm
two.
sure. I Yeah, and so yeah, it's whatever 225 right now, and it was hit 250, like, right. So the highest corn had ever gone to called $8. So if we were, that's what I'm saying. It's like if we were still at 12 or $13 a bushel.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, take a pretty different market to get that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
lettuce has started showing up on the counter table, but ribeyes have not. So um, that tells part of the story.
dude, I'll tell you what. So we went to leave this vacation. Everything's so much cheaper. So much. It's like 60% of the price. We get
Even beef,
five,
like,
Like
or
like
there's
a
not
even
much.
beef. Yeah,
like a
like
ribeye, like a ribeye.
yeah, like a big old steak. That's
Hmm.
all.
So you're
That's the whole
saying,
thing there. It's like they like that's like literally one of their things out of Florence is like big fat steaks. Yeah, it was crazy. It was
like 12
crazy.
year like 12 euros a pound?
I don't remember the prices off the top of my head. I think it was probably.
God, I
I
would have
mean,
to let me get a calculator
I
on
mean,
it.
Let me get a
I mean,
calculator. But well, so with my iPhone, right, paying everything on the with whatever the Apple Card, like it converts everything real time. So like I didn't have to do the math in my head, like oh we're whatever euros at a buck 15, da da da. Like, it was just telling me like every time, like holy crap. Rodney, I think I was telling like here you get when we go out to Five Guys, that's like $100 for the family of
For
four, right?
sure.
Which
Yeah.
just feels nuts.
Oh
yeah.
God.
And so when we went, well, there are Five Guys there. We didn't go to the Five Guys there, but we went to an Italian burger place, right? And it was a comparable meal. It was like $50 maybe for
Hmm.
everybody. Um,
That's pretty good. Yeah, Five Guys is definitely on the upper side of things from a burger perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Real good though.
it's
Real
your
good.
higher
But
end fast casual dining.
yeah.
Uh,
The
yeah,
Five Guys is that's an elite establishment right there.
we we like Five Guys here like that. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's good.
necessarily. Like,
Five Guys is good.
the debate's always whether or not we're going to get shakes. Like
Ooh,
because some of us don't need shakes, even though some of us want shakes.
yeah.
Like despite being grown ups, like we're really frustrated when other people get shakes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I got a buddy that got in a bad habit when we were traveling together of getting cake shakes from Portillo's.
Oof, oof.
And I would like occasionally get one, but I felt crappy all the rest
Yeah.
of the day or whatever. So one day we're up at a band competition actually with the girls, and on our way home we passed Portillo's, and they're like, "Hey, let's stop and get a shake or whatever, just whatever." And I got a large cake shake, and they were like not
What is wrong
impressed.
with you?
They were like,
Yeah.
"You moron,
What are you doing?
Dad."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, what that's got to be like 2,000 calories or
I think it
something,
was
right?
even
1,500
more. I think
maybe.
it was like 2,500 calories. It
Wow.
was crazy.
Wow.
You look that stuff after you eat it. So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
hard.
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, yeah, but
But
probably
boy,
need
was
one of
it
those.
good. And I slept good that afternoon.
Okay. Slept through to the next day.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, there's
All
something
right.
for you to think about on your ride tomorrow, Gabe. Cake
Yeah.
shake.
Cake shake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm capable,
Or Five Guys.
or for
Yeah.
Five Guys, yeah, yeah.
Gabe,
I got to talk
I
to him.
did look. I asked you the other day what that if that was like how that compared to like a marathon as far as difficulty. And
Yeah.
anyway, I just looked it up while we were talking earlier, and it said like the conversion to a marathon is like 70 to 100 miles on a bike. So, I don't think I would tell a marathoner that I'd.
I look, man, I know me. I like you would never find me running a marathon. Like you like there would need to be threat of harm to my family or something for me to think jogging
Yeah.
46 miles is a thing I would do. Uh
Again, I would not go around telling marathon people like, "Oh, I practically ran a marathon. I biked 84 miles." But it's a big deal.
I know a guy that does triathlons. I should ask him like what he
Yeah.
thinks. Like that it feels like a reasonable benchmark. I feel like if he thought it was like a marathon, he would have said that. Like
Yeah.
he would have made that comment. Like maybe it's the 100 miles. I don't know. Maybe 5x. Like if you told me 5x, like it's just such lower impact on your body. Like
Yeah,
that's the thing
right.
that jumps out at me.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
sure.
It just
Yep.
yeah. I mean yeah. So I would like to tell myself it's like I'm running a marathon, but I can only lie to myself so much, Rodney.
Yeah.
Got to deal
Yeah.
with the looks, got to deal with the intellect, like convince myself that those are going all right. I don't think I can get the marathon over the line.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Anything else anybody wants to hit on? Closing thoughts?
I
The
mean,
longest pause on
I,
closing thoughts ever.
I mean, these markets are wild. Like I think just in general, I think
Hmm.
um, equity markets where we started, grain markets kind of where we ended, which from my perspective, keeps me engaged. No 2 days are the same, which I absolutely love. So constantly learning. Um, yeah, this is fun. I appreciate the invite to connect. So it's great conversation.
Yeah, man. And we will welcome you back to the grain world whenever you want. You come join us. I guess me now. Gabe's
Yeah, it was you.
invited.
I haven't been in
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
for
We'd
years.
love to
So
have you back.
I miss that 495. Yeah, we're going to five and a quarter here. I
we're going to
miss
six.
that.
We're going to
We're
six.
going we're going to five. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure
But
somebody thought we were going to six. Somebody
Oh,
must have.
100%. I mean,
oh,
dude, like that. I should have known to sell it all when you saw the headlines. Like, man, corn could really go to six. It's like, and dude, to be honest, it still could. Frankly, it
Sure.
really still
Yeah.
could.
I can
Uh,
get you a March premium 550 premium offer paying 26 cents right now.
so we did. Listen to this fanciness. I actually did a trade the other day. It was at that height, right? It was like when corn was $5 ish or whatever. We um sold futures, bought a Dece like $5 call or something like that, or like right there, and then sold a Dece 27, 530 call short dated to May, which I
Yeah.
loved, right?
Yeah.
Expired in
Yeah.
May.
Yeah.
And it paid for the whole package. Like it was like a hedge to arrive and then, because
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
thought process there was like, hey, I'm really worried about like $6 corn would be bad for a lot of the guys this year, right? I know that's weird to say. Um, but a one sale on the books at 530 for next year, like
Yeah.
whatever, right? And it's
Yeah.
May. It's
Yeah.
like
It's been.
where I hope it's getting hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I would have done a lot more of that now, but I'll tell you again in May how that worked out.
I was just glad to hear you had some stop orders in. And I hope those
Oh,
guys
dude.
called you up after that and were like, Rodney, you're a genius. You're a special guy.
No,
Thanks
dude,
so
you get
much.
all the credit for it because the guys working with me listen to the podcast and they mention your name, like, oh yeah,
So they were mad at, so first they were mad at me and then
well, yeah. I mean, those stop orders, that particular stop order felt really good for 3 days.
yeah.
I mean, just really good, but that's it.
And it still looks all right now.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Got it right,
Good.
guys. Take
Yeah.
care.
Good to see you, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Lot of fun. We'll we'll do it again soon.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Hey, good luck. Hey, Gabe, may the wind be at your back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.